Hi, this is Anita from Real Estate Crunch. This month I'm talking a lot about tenants and landlords and different things between tenants and landlords because it seems that there's a lot of questions out there. A lot of people get themselves in trouble as both landlords and tenants because they don't do a few simple things, which is read the lease agreement or have a proper lease agreement. So the question we're going to answer now is, do landlords need to provide you with an air conditioning unit? If you're living in a hot climate or summertime when it's hot, question you might ask yourself, does the landlord need to give me an air conditioning unit? This really, like so many things in real estate, is not a simple yes or no, especially for the entire United States. Because there's some parts of the United States where this could be a law and other parts where it's not. So some parts of the United States, the landlord does need to give you an working air conditioning unit, and in other parts, they do not. So there's several factors which determine whether or not your apartment or home or wherever you're renting must come with an air conditioning unit. The first is a lease agreement. The first place to check for information about your air conditioning unit is your lease agreement. There's two places that you can really look for this. One would be the amenities section. Under the amenities section, it should be listed as an amenity, which usually includes some of the appliances, heating, plumbing, that type of thing. If the air conditioner is mentioned there, then it could be legally binding under the contract that the air conditioning system needs to work. You can look under maintenance and repair. The lease should also specify who's responsible for maintaining and repairing the air condition. Now, this really is a huge one because you could rent a building with an air conditioning unit, but if suddenly the air conditioning unit breaks and you have to repair it because it's in your lease agreement, then that could be a huge expense and a huge amount of money. So before you rent a building, you need to check and make sure who's responsible if the AC stops working. Generally, the landlord is responsible to make sure it's in working order, but make sure there's not a clause in here that says that you as the tenant are. Where you're located can actually determine whether or not under the local laws an air conditioning unit must be provided for in the rental agreement. This can differ not only by state but also by county and by city. Most states do not mandate an air conditioning. So now here's where it gets kind of interesting when it comes to asking this question about whether or not you have to have an air conditioner if you rent. And there are some state laws, and the state laws are generally, some states require air conditioning, such as Florida, which is known to be hot and humid. It mandates that landlords provide air conditioning in rental units. Nevada can have extremely high temperatures, requires landlords to ensure air conditioning is available and functional. And Arizona has a law that says that requiring landlords to provide air conditioning. So, you should really check this out. And, your state could be changing it as now it's starting to become, where there's more heat waves coming up throughout the, United States and other places. Laws or local counties or cities could actually be changing these laws and saying, look, if you're going to rent to somebody, you need to provide a working air conditioner. So the best thing you can do, again, is check your local laws for this because, your county ordinance or your city ordinance may actually state now that an air conditioner is provided, even if you're not on one of those states. Also find out what it says in the lease agreement about who's responsible for repairing the aircon, because this could really make a difference. If the landlord just has to provide you with a working aircon, but you have to pay to repair it, this could be a huge bill because aircons do break down, and you don't want to be stuck with having to repair somebody else's aircon. And so the question that people ask too, let's say I'm in one of those states and my air conditioning unit's been broken and my aircon, the landlord hasn't fixed it. Can I withhold the rent and then force him to fix the aircon? Again, the thing you should do is you should consult a lawyer. You need to document the issue. You need to notify your landlord. You need to make sure you have it documented. Don't just call him up. Make sure that you write it down, that it's somewhere written down. If you text them, keep a copy of the text. Make sure you keep a copy of the text that he answered, so that you have it documented that this was something that you discussed. And then seek legal advice. Consult a real estate lawyer for your area. Tell them the problem and explain it to them. Consulting a lawyer will cost you money. It can save you from significant legal issues in the future, especially if you do something illegal, your landlord comes after you, and you end up having bigger problems. The number one thing that we recommend that everyone should do, and we cannot stress this enough, is review your lease agreement. Check your local and state laws. Communicate with your landlord. Try to have a good relationship with your landlord. It's important that you two have a working relationship, that you can be able to work together. This is important. It's essential. Have a good, relationship with your landlord. And this is where I think it comes into doing like maybe some little things. If it's holiday time, and maybe you bring them something little, or you give them a note or something like that, so that you have this good relationship and you two can talk and not basically get together and start shouting at each other. Document if there's issues, and seek legal advice if it's necessary. I've written a blog post called "Do Landlords Need to Provide You with Air Conditioning?" And I'm going to put a link in the description for this blog post. If you want to get more information, please do check it out and read it. We'd love to hear from you. If you have any comments or questions, we'd love to have you comment, love to have you question us. We hope that if you're a tenant and you're having problems with your air conditioning unit, that you find a way to be able to solve this. If you are a landlord, that you yourself will understand what your rights are when it comes to providing an air conditioning unit for your tenants. This is Anita from Real Estate Crunch. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being part of our community. Give us a thumbs up, like us. It really does help. It does make a difference if you subscribe, or if you like us, if you make a comment. All of that helps with the algorithm and does help make a difference. Thank you so much for being part of our community.